Test, test. Let's give a quick test of the volume. How's my voice? All right. Turn the music down a little bit. Just gonna keep it going a little bit in the background, maybe. Hopefully that's audible but not distracting, and then we'll probably turn it off in a little bit. Yeah, so today we're gonna continue with the VR portion of this project we've been working on for the last few weeks, since November-ish. Yesterday, if you caught it, we were doing some testing for the Messy Coders charity stream that we will be participating in. Let me see. Oh, I forgot I gotta go. I'll post about it in the channel. I need to get a bot like Messy has set up specifically for commands that are easy to configure. But let's give this a try.
Test.
All right, Twitch bot's awake.
24HR charity stream. Join us 13th of January as we try to raise money for Macmillan Cancer Support and interview amazing guests such as the creator of Phasmophobia Kinetic Games, character creator and iClone makers Reillusion, Malba's Animation, Altaruna Multiplayer for Unity, get advice for getting in-game development from Derald Wise from Globant, Odin makers Serenix, and so many more.
So I'll be co-hosting sometime around 4 or 5 p.m., which I guess we don't have the date. Oh, yep, on the 13th. So yeah, join and let's raise some money for charity. Okay, let's switch over to show you what I'm working on. So I've been earlier today. Let's see, why is my screen black? Because I'm on Discord. There we go. Still kind of set up for yesterday's stream. Oops. That's not what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to do. All right. So I got to get Windows repositioned because I forgot to do so. Sorry about that. So get our code window ready, as we will be doing some coding today. So yeah. I got it to the point where I can kind of start dropping in decals. So you can see the Messy Badger decal there. And they're different decals in different colors. So you have a choice between white, your faction color, and black. So this faction is kind of a yellowish brown. That way, if you know you're putting a decal on a white spot or something like that, you can use the faction color or black. But if you're putting it on a dark spot, you might want to just use the white decal and force it to be white, so it'll have their faction logo, but it'll definitely show up. The other ones here, these aren't quite done yet, are the manufacturer decals. And so these are basically you as the ship builder, ship creator, can add your manufacturer decal to the ship. So we could take this theoretically and drag it over here. There's some extra hackery that has to happen to actually get that to place because I've got some problems, I think, with the colliders. So we'll go into Unity, we find my manufacturer decal. See, it placed it below the wing for some reason. So if I actually move it onto the wing, you see the manufacturer decal starts to show up. And I think we'll just do this in Unity because we're not quite ready to be done outside of Unity. We'll rotate this 90 degrees. Rotate that 90 degrees. And then essentially what's going to happen is, like, maybe I want all of my ships that I've built to have my maker's mark. It's kind of right here. There you go. There's something weird going on with the decal system too, where its scaling is not causing the decal to refresh. I'm gonna have to go in and figure out how to manually trigger a refresh or something when the part moves, which is kind of annoying, but whatever. So this ship could be a fighter, and it's got the messy. So if I take another decal here, because I want one on both sides. And then I'm actually going to, again, kind of cheating right now because I don't want to mess up. We're just going to create a quick Badger ship. The rest of this we'll do in the ship builder. Need some 4x1s. Oops. Let's get the manufacturer decal on there too. I just thought it was really cool with the manufacturer decal, how you could just kind of tag your work. That. Okay, so we want on this ship. I'm just gonna throw some wings on here. 1 and 2. Oops. That's the one I need to get some markings or something. Right, left. I don't know, something to make that a little easier. All right, so we've got some wings. This is actually not in the right spot. Get it to actually snap where it needs to go. Check this one, make sure it snapped in the right spot. I think it did. All right, and we're just gonna throw some engines on here and we'll call this one done. Trying to get a bunch of fighters put together. We're not logged in. Of course. It's a big engine. That's not what I want. I found that I think what I need to do is I need to do filters for the sizes underneath here, so you can do a drop down or something. So I don't know. This UI needs a little work. The other thing, so I still have issues where I have to get the snaps to work properly. You have to let go and drop again. But all right, so good. We'll call this the Badger Fighter 1. All right, so there's the Badger Fighter 1. Let's go ahead and start jumping into working on some of the VR work. Just a second. All right, so we've got our messy badger. We've got it saved. Let's go in, and we'll open up the 2D scene because we covered this yesterday, but I didn't. Covered this yesterday, but I want to pull it back up just before we get started because this is really kind of the core of what we're working on today. All right, so this is just the default ship that I have set to spawn in. We should be able to, what did I even call that ship? We should be able to spawn in our ships, Badger Fighter 1. Spin in 2 or 3 of these. I haven't actually tried spawning one in with the decals in it, so this may be interesting. So there's our fighter. The decals didn't spawn in, and the wings didn't spawn in.
I'm going to Addie's.
Okay. Clearly, I have some issues with the new ship that need to be worked out. But that's not the focus today. Today, we have a functional ship. This cruiser. And that's what we'll use. So see, I just semi-accidentally moved our ship in 3D space. That's really what we're going to be working on today, is taking what we've been doing in the 2D and moving it into the 3D. Now, hopefully this goes all right. I have been having some problems with Unity. In the last stream, if anybody was seen that one in the VOD or whatever, there's a part where Ryder, oh, okay, it's fixed itself. Ryder was showing his internal and blah, 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 and there's basically, I couldn't fully open the Ryder project. I hit that again yesterday and could never get it to fix itself, even when I switched packages, which is the way I showed to fix it yesterday, and so nothing worked. And then I guess it just fixed itself again. I don't really know. I don't really know what's going on there, but looks like we're good to go. I did have Ryder after I left play mode with the debugger attached. Unity crashed twice earlier today, so we shall see just how much luck we have with any of the stuff. One thing I do want to do real quick, I think, is open up a terminal and make sure I've committed the work I've got done. So give me just a second. There's going to be some major optimization that's going to have to happen here eventually. Got some pretty ugly hacks in here to make things work. All right, so yeah, this is one issue I've hit. I want the non-convex mesh colliders. But I want I want the full support for the rigid body. So I think the hack that I did for this one specifically is the position is controlled by the rigid body here. But part of the problem there, I think, is that it then doesn't have any mass, or it doesn't have any colliders associated with it. So it has some issues calculating things like center mass and stuff like that, which I set manually by trying to manually calculate them inside the model itself, which has all of the non-convex mesh colliders in it. All right, let's. I forgot to turn on the headset. Hopefully, yes, good. We are charged on that one. I want to use a different one though. We're going to keep this one as a backup. We'll be working with the Quest 3 again today. It does appear to be charged and ready to go. That's strapped into my desk setup. And then I've got the Quest 2 also charged and set up as a backup. But we're going to try and use the Quest 3 today just because Quest 3 is new and shiny and fun to play. So the setup I have here is that you can't see is basically I've got a really long mic arm, boom stand type thing, and a magnetic attachment for my headset so that my headset can sit at eye level and I can still type, but I can also manipulate things in 3D space. And the problem with this particular project is it's meant to be, it's really going to be meant to be room scale rather than sitting. And so any sort of testing becomes difficult. So we'll have to kind of work on scale a little bit today, but we're essentially going to be duplicating this scene. we had a start last time. It was a decent start. Let's take a look at that. I've changed so much here that I think I want to do it from scratch. We didn't really get that deep into it anyway, but let's open it up. Oh, I forgot to turn on the headset. Hold on. Just check the battery. Sure, this is plugged into power, and we're going to try and use wireless. We're going to try and use link over Wi-Fi today. Controllers. The goal for this game too is to not use controllers at all. It's Airlink. Get that launched. I should have done this before stream. I always forget a bunch of setup work. Because I'm sitting there coding until the very last second. All right, so Airlink has launched. And I was going to find the scene, VR. I think it's this one. Yeah, I think we're just going to start this from scratch. We really didn't get that far into it anyway. And I've changed a lot of how I want things to work. Yeah, because this even has the catalog manager in it. So let's get started. I get my headphones back on now that I've got the headset up. Okay, so let's start from, we'll convert the old scene since there's a lot there that's worth keeping. Oh, this is the scene, I think, that is rigged. Yeah. I was looking at the wrong scene. It's like we really didn't get as far as I thought I did. All right. So let's pull in the desktop scene on top of this, and let's grab some pieces from it. We want, this is the basically the player pre-spawn ship for testing. Let's drop that in this scene here. What else do we want to grab? The blueprint scene. We don't. This is already set up. Camera should be pretty much all turned off. In fact, I don't think we want the blueprint scene at this point. Because we don't need the grid. We might end up wanting the grid in the end, but I don't know if we do. So we'll change that part. All right, we can remove flight path. It's no longer valid. We delete these. And then cut our camera rig and our pass through. What else? I don't need that yet. Oops. Guess we already had one of these in here. I'm just gonna check and see if this has any overrides. Nope, so that should be good to go. We can actually grab that from prefabs just to be sure. Wherever it is in prefabs, I need to do some refactoring. Ships. All right, we can drop that ship in here. What else do we want from here? We want a ship spawner for sure. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Let's create a prefab for this. So that when I'm working in 2D, did I just move it again? Grab the right one. Then I draw the ship spawner. Notifications. I need to create the VR variant of this. We don't have a VR notification variant yet. So maybe we'll do that today too. Because we need to be able to see when ships are loading, ship spawn, stuff like that. Same for the login controller. We need to create VR versions of these. They're really not ready. Fly through stars. Yeah, we'll add that. That's just some particle effects. And the HUD, definitely don't need that yet. All right. Save that. Unload that scene. So we're now got our base scene. We've got a little nebula there in the background. And one thing I wanted to do is we want to have a planet that's going to be kind of the focal point. That's the center point in the room, where so your combat's essentially going to happen above the surface of a planet. And the planet you'll define as being kind of the center of your play space, and then you'll kind of walk through and around the planet and control your ships above in orbit. And ideally, at some point, we'll get to the point where the planet's gravity will, like if you have a massive ship, you'll be limited in how close you can get to the planet, or otherwise the gravity you'll get pulled into the gravitational pull of the planet and go collapse. And that could be a fun game element at some point. Because I'd also like to use skipping off the atmosphere to do an acceleration. I just think there's some fun elements with planet flight that we can do. Okay. Getting into some Vivaldi. All right. So I think we've got pretty much everything we need. Let's just hit play and cross our fingers and hope that this runs on the quest. We ran into a lot of problems with this last week, but we did eventually get it fixed, and the fix involved rebooting a couple times, which I really don't want to have to do. Oh yeah, there we go. We're in good shape. So I'm able to look through, and we still have the pink hands to deal with, which is not ideal. But at least we have VR, so we'll be able to test this. I really want to fix my pink hands. Let's see if we can do that real quick. I tried last time and I couldn't remember where exactly the materials are set. They're somewhere in here. The visuals, maybe? Is there a material under here somewhere? Here it is. I think this is it. Yeah. So we're just going to swap out these materials, I believe, and the default hand material with our hollow equivalents. Which should be under materials. And I've got one for gesture. And then I've got one for hand. and gesture, hand. I think I have a right hand and a left hand as well, but it's all right. We'll just get with these. Right, control the hand indicator. All right, so we need hand gesture and gesture. Hand. Right, let's see if that looks any better. Save. Always save before hitting play, because yeah, we'll crash. We will crash at some point. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Use a little work. I think our ship spawned in behind us somewhere. I'm not sure where. Alright, so let's... The next thing I think we'll do is we'll adjust the ship spawn point. So it spawns where we are. The other thing is it doesn't have a ship by default. We need to grab... Set the default ship. That's the reason I wanted to copy. Let's load this scene. Let's grab... Doesn't have the ID for that ship either. Let me get a ship ID for the cruiser. And we'll unload this scene while we're saving. Oh, it does have a ship ID. I was looking at the function call. So where'd our ship go? Let's make sure the auth scene's in here too. Right, so where's our camera? The camera is here at 000. So I think we're going to want to move it on the Z, like 3. Camera. There. Ship is here. Should spawn it relatively close in front of us. And I think we have this set up at a reasonable scale. Yeah, I picked a 0.2 scale for these. That works pretty well. It makes the ship in VR space is probably about 1.5 feet, maybe 2 feet long. Forgot to save. We won't crash. Ship should have spawned just over there. What is going on here? Where is our ship? See where it should be. Oh. something broke in the work script, so it didn't actually scale in. So the question is, where's our ship relative to our camera now? It's behind the camera. So let's say maybe we want our ship to spawn in. Here. Okay, we gotta fix the warp jump. Whatever's causing this null pointer exception on the warp jump is causing it to not fully spawn. Oh, okay. The effects. That's why we need the blueprint scene, because it has the effect controller. Okay. Let's see. Let's load this guy up. What we're looking for is this thing. So I want to override that. Let's create a new prefab for this specifically because it's got some overrides, or it should. Okay, looks like I've already done that. So I should be able to apply any. There are none. All right, let's add the ship effects. This is what's basically controlling. It's got the pools for all of the explosions, impacts, etc., etc. So without those, we have a bit of a problem. Also, I'm going to paste in the asteroids here. I don't know if we're going to be able to use them because I haven't optimized them yet. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Don't think we changed anything of value. Okay. Let's turn on our asteroids. And let play. Spawn in some local asteroids. I may need to change the distribution a little bit. Boom. Right, so there's our ship. It spawned right on top of us. We may even want to change the initial scaling a little bit. I think we want our ship to actually maybe spawn in front of our default view. How to do that? My headset, it's crooked on the mount just because of the way I have it set up right now. So that's why that looks a little crooked. I also need more lighting. We don't have enough lighting. Do we have any lighting in this scene? Because I disabled the blueprint lighting. All right. Yeah, we're going to need the blueprints. Okay, so let's copy this. So now it should warp in front of us. And then we're going to turn on the blueprint scene. And we're just going to make sure all of the cameras are off. We'll turn off the plane. I don't think we want to. Go. Our ship spawned in. Loads of asteroids. I'm sure our frame rate positively tanked for that. It does look very cool. And I do see lots of asteroids floating around. And man, the asteroids look bad. The textures are super low resolution. The other thing, let's change our density. So now we're in 3D space, and so the asteroids are set up to be really done on a 2D plane. But we're gonna make this a little denser, I guess. So it'll be. It starts out as a sphere, and then we're basically squishing the sphere down to 10 meters tall max. We're going to figure out scaling in general because since this is exterior, all of the scale is going to be weird. And we're going to want to be able to scale in and scale out so we can get a closer look. There's our ship. Question is, I should probably get it close enough that I can reach out and grab it. I don't know how close that is. Whoa, okay. Let's talk about scale here. Our hands are way down here. We want the ship to be small. All right, so we're gonna have to set up kind of a environment scaling component that's gonna be outside the planet so that we can scale all of the stuff. So what we're basically gonna do is at the 0 point, great. Let's do this outside of runtime so we don't have all the so we'll basically take this and this, and we're going to create an empty parent. Or close. It's not really world at this point, it's galaxy scale. Universe. All right, so we've got the universe. I'm going to change the music up. I'm going to turn it off or switch to something more. I get distracted. Not enough low brass and percussion. I like orchestra music, and I used to play in orchestras, but I prefer orchestra music that has a little bit of that low end to it rather than string quartets. All right, so our universe now, when we hit play, it's working pretty well today, actually. See our ship fly and spawn in. It smashed into an asteroid on its way in. Right, so if we take our universe, scale the whole universe down. 0, 0. Smashed into another asteroid. All right, so it's still maybe bigger than I intended. So we take that in terms of the scale of my hand. I think we want our ship to be like, this is a capital ship sized ship. Our fighters, let's drag in a fighter for scale. I think we've got some pre-built ones that we can just drop in. think most of these are all capital ship sized. There's some cool ones in here. I'm gonna have these. I'm going to convert these into blueprints so we can reuse them. But I don't... Oh, okay, here's some fighters. That's cool. Space station. Alright, that's a fighter, this is a fighter. Let's drag this fighter in. Into the universe. And then on top of that scale, we're doing 0.2. So this is fighter size. The problem with the triple brick stuff is what would be considered fighter size is really not. The sense of scale is wrong. The bridge on this should probably, this should probably be that. We'll have to figure out a way to reconcile that. If you're building a fighter, have it be fighter sized. Take an extra 10 off the total scale. I mean, that's a respectable size. So just, I think, anything that's considered a fighter, let you specify the class of your ship. We'll just knock the extra scale off of it. Yeah, if you're sitting in the cockpit of this thing, that's kind of the view I would want to see. It's much bigger, because I also want to have it set up so we can put in like a hangar or something and have drones fill it out. Alright, so let's... I think what I need to do is I want the scale on this to be so we can use 1, 1, 1. And then scale the universe down appropriately. So everything... Uh-oh, I think I just crashed it, which might end up in a reboot. I don't have the debugger running. Oh. The massive jump in scale hit all of the asteroids. Or most of them. So that freeze was the unoptimized asteroids exploding, and they're really unoptimized. I mean, I think they're like 1,000 some odd fractures per asteroid, something crazy like that. It's just a free. It's a nice free experimental asset that you can get off the asset store. I haven't gone and actually used a fracturing tool to break it up in an efficient way yet. At least not one that's going to be actually usable. Link these. Try that. 10. Yeah, that's not bad. So I want my capital ships, because those are the ones that we're going to control by hand, to be like something you would pick up with your hand and fly around, like you're a kid playing with the ship in the room. So we'll do 0.008. And we'll set this up to back to be 1. Eight. We might need to adjust our spawn point again. Let's see where that puts everything. It's okay if the asteroids don't scale with the ship, because we can fly around them that way, which would be kind of cool. Okay, so the universe is not centered. And I guess what we probably want to do is center the universe just in front of our player for now. What's going to happen is I'm going to have an anchor point and use scene anchors, I think, to set the center point of the room. And that's where the planet will live. And I haven't actually done this. We're kind of doing it blind as far as that's concerned. And it also looks like we're going to have to adjust our flight path renderer as well. Edit that and value two. That's still a little big. I think I'm going to go 0.01 maybe. Or maybe let's go 0.05. Yeah, I think that's reasonable. Yeah, try that. Okay, so how do we go about making our ship fly? That's where we need our grabbable block, which I guess I don't have in here anymore. I guess we deleted it. Save this. Let's get something that we can grab. We're going to open up our smart building blocks. And I really want, I think, is remote grab. I don't know if there's a building block for that yet. We'll do the grabbable item, just like we did last time. Go through the building blocks. See if there's anything else we're going to want soon. I'm going to have to figure out UI. Alright, grabbable item. This needs material. Just wanted to make sure I didn't accidentally mess anything there up. So I think there is the reason we did the left and the right. So that's roughly the size of my hand. But we don't want this to show up all the time. So we're going to add a visibility trigger when our hand gets near it. Because what's going to happen is this is basically going to live underneath the ship. But we're going to want the visibility to happen. We're going to want it to be visible anytime. I kind of want this to be a ball too, instead of a box. Maybe I should replace the mesh. Yeah. So still got a box collider. I don't need to worry about that. It's just a trigger. But we are going to add another trigger in here. So let's go create empty. Or maybe before I get too far ahead of myself, let's show you that we can indeed grab this thing and move it around. And let's get it right in front of us so we can grab it. Gotta adjust from my camera position. And I should be able to go like this, so I can grab it, I can move it around. Great. All right. So that's roughly right in front of me. Copy those coordinates. We don't. We only really needed the position. Okay. Should be an interactable Unity event wrapper. Here, so we can get these values, because we want when select and when unselect, and then under, this is going to be ship control handle. What I do is what's set up here is there's this waypoint spawner that currently has a drag object thing on it, and that's for dragging with the mouse. So when I was in that 2D scene and I was clicking and dragging and drawing out the path, this is the thing that was generally controlling it. So we're basically going to duplicate these start events. Let's see, code real quick. I think we'll create a custom dragger just so you can simplify this and not do so much ugly UI work. Let's see. We'll not have a VR. Where does this live again? That was in UI, I think. trying to figure out where I want to put this. I need my glasses on. So we're going to create this VR waypoint ship controller. And we're going to need the waypoint spawner. But I can maybe start moving. Start path. We'll call these from the select methods of the Unity events. Thinking, sorry. We don't want to do this every frame. So I think we're probably going to do a filter on distance. And this is, I have to adjust this for scale too. We're also I'm gonna want to have the ability to have you just grab and, well, I guess you can't see my hand at the moment because I'm not running, but grab and rotate the sphere so we can basically rotate the ship in place. Have the local thrusters spin the ship. So let's say their ship's underneath and all of my turrets are on top, that I can flip the ship over. Let's do min rotation. We'll say maybe 5 degrees. Gotta love Copilot. Generate. That's not an obvious method name at all. Yeah, with the mouse, you couldn't really. The rotation wasn't a big issue because you couldn't really rotate the mouse, so it used the pure spline positioning. But now, in fact, we're probably going to want to add an arrow indicating which direction the ship will go, and it may even be worth, instead of using the sphere, use a version of the ship, like a model of the ship, so that you can actually fly the model of the ship around, like a hollow version of the model of the ship. That would be really cool, actually. That would be really cool, and I could do that. Okay, we'll think about that. For now, let's keep with the sphere and keep it simple. I guess the other issue is we don't have a setup for a target rotation on particular spline and points, which I may need to add. That's not a rotation. Which should affect, yeah. We will see what that does. Okay, so now we should do spawner dot add waypoint. The rotation. All right, so this should let us, when we grab the sphere, it's going to drag out the flight path along the path, however long, whatever direction we drag the sphere. Which is another reason why it's important that the ship's scale is small enough that we can move it, because you're really limited to the space of the player's play space. So for me right now, that means I can only really move my ship about a foot, maybe 2.5 feet in one way or the other before I lose tracking, because my headset is sitting next to me, but I've got the desk and everything in the way. Okay, so we've got that method set up. We need to do the other thing we need to do here is pathing. Okay. We've already returned. If we're not pathing, we're going to return. Pathing is true. False. Alright. So let's stick this waypoint ship controller. And I think there's more that I need to hook up. Like this. Yeah. So let's do. Ship. We need to provide the start point, otherwise it's going to teleport. Not necessarily teleport. It'll fly there, but it won't fly there. Like the start point will make sure that the first node in the spline is pointed in the direction of the forward direction of the ship, so that the spline adjusts the flight path to match. There we go. So when we start, we're technically starting. We're telling it we're starting from the ship position, even though we're starting from there. And then that way, when it comes in here, as long as we've moved far enough away from the ship, it'll start spawning right away. Okay. I need. It's my grabbable. My ship control handle. Oh, and we also want to clear the previous flight path. Means we need flight path. I don't know if we really need this waypoint spawner anymore. I think it's mostly debugging at this point. Yeah, in fact, I may just eliminate it and manipulate the flight path directly. Clear our flight paths. Then we're going to add waypoints. All right, so this is really replacing that waypoint spawner. Because it's really the 2D version of this. So we need to add a component onto this. That is the Starpath. VR waypoint ships controller. And then we want it to control this flight path. Ships transform. This doesn't actually move, it's the ship position that moves. And those values are set. Alright, I think we're ready to try this. May want to decrease the size of the ball too. We'll see. My brain likes to jump around. And we hit the asteroids. Asteroids explode because we warped into them. Did that blow up the ship too? Enough of that. We'll move that around. The scene is not loaded. There's our ship. Why's our ship so far over there? Or not copy a transform somewhere? I didn't. Zero. And then we're going to offset this to the center of our universe. It's right about 1.5 meters forward, 1.5 meters up. That's clearly not working yet. It's okay. Let's copy this value before we forget. And I don't think I hooked up the... Yeah, I didn't. So we're not calling the methods that we need to call. So this is unselect, so we want stop path. This is select. We want start path. Save that. See what we got. Hey, there we go. We're gonna have to, I think we're gonna have to adjust the scaling. Ooh, that's the other problem with scaling the ship is particle effects don't tend to be happy with scaling. Need too much motion. I need to break it. I am going to stand up and we're going to try this from a standing position in a space that's big enough and see how it feels. You gotta make sure you're on my view. This is why I use Magnet for everything, because I can easily detach. Oh, it should be over here. Get all out. Seems like select is going to call over and over again. It's always getting. First thing with this. Why? All right. Got some adjustments to make. Okay. We need to first figure out why this is happening. And I think maybe it's because the waypoint spawner is enabled. Is one possibility. I left the ship panel on the other side of the room. 000. This back in range of my hand so I can grab it. Okay, yeah. So it was conflicting that the waypoint transform was not being reset. But we just needed to disable the waypoint spawner because we're not using it in this case. All right, so we'll disable waypoint spawner, and I think that was the only adjustment. Let's try that. Dropped in the headset. Time to walk across the room. Each asteroid it hits. For evidence that we need to think about scaling things. Okay. We've got a trajectory mapped out across the room. Oh, and I had you on the wrong view, so you can see most of what I just did. What you couldn't see me do was I went over here. I drew out this trajectory, and the ship should be flying along the path, but it's not. So the question is, why is it not? We need movement controls, I think. There's the target position. Where's the target position? Over. reason, the target position is... Oh, it's jumping between the... Well, at least now, it's jumping between the endpoint and the start point. Which is weird. Oh, it's a scale problem. I think. I'm pretty sure this is a scale problem where it's the speed of the ship calculated is probably longer than the path itself. So it's having trouble calculating the next point on the spline. There's that. All right, we've got some problems with trying to scale the universe. I think we're going to have to look at scaling the camera, which I think has its own... We'll try it. Let's see what happens if we scale the camera. One. Universe. All right. So this should fix things like the effects that we were seeing problems with. And some of the other issues from trying to scale the world. But it's going to have other side effects in that this is probably not going to do well. I haven't explored dealing with camera scaling in a long time. So I'm not sure how well this is going to work. Where is my camera rig? So far, so good. Let's move the universe where we expect it to go. I think we probably want to add a little bit more scale to the camera. I think the problem we end up having at this scale is we start hitting pretty quickly floating point value issues. But that looks okay-ish. We're gonna have to adjust the background scale. I think we went too big on that. There we go. Yeah, I think if we do that, if we offset the position by the scale, that should give us, that'll help with some of that floating point calculation issue that we're likely to have. Let's move this into our camera perspective. There's our ship. We need to get our sphere, and we're going to have to scale it up. Where'd it go? Control handle. That's a good size. A little bit of a top down so I can see what I'm doing a little better. Yeah, that fixed the at least spine path following. Or at least it looks like it did. We have to work on the direction a little bit. And the random teleporting of directions. But it does seem like it's following the path now. That's good. It's not following the direction. That's fine. You figure that out next. Well, I don't know if we'll figure that out next. That's another problem, specifically with the pathing that I need to work on. Okay. So let's make some of these adjustments. The spline renderer, yeah, change that up to 1. And then the big piece that we need is universe coordinates. And our camera rig scale 500. We want negative 500 offsets. 500, 500, 500. And then we needed to increase the background scale. So you adjust for that. And then our universe position. I think we decided on 25 for the control handle. Did I forget anything important? No, I don't think so. Let's see if I remembered it all. Your ship warping in. Bam, it warped in. Right. We probably need to have the ball start in that position. Roughly. Or maybe in front of it somewhere. Just so it's easier to get to. We'll move this into the universe. And then that up there. Again, the positioning on this specifically is going to be room anchored. But while I'm still sitting at a desk doing this, I don't want to do that. The next thing we'll add is our planet. Oh, I forgot to set the scale on our line render. Back up to 1. Definitely don't need cast shadows turned on. I did want to bump that up to 1,000. I don't know. I haven't tried any of this on an actual build yet. So there are a lot of opens on what we're going to be able to do perf-wise. But right now I'm just kind of building the base experience, the flight path, all that stuff. Like we can reduce the visuals on a resource-constrained device. Warp then. I'm going to grab the headset and we're going to take it for a walk. I should probably remember to also give you guys the view that I'm seeing from a headset. Alright, so from the headset's perspective, this particle field's broken. I cannot see the universe at all. I see it in here. We can't see the universe probably because the camera clip is too far. Where's my camera? Where's the camera? Our rig. Inner eye anchor, camera, far. Yeah. Okay, so we need to adjust the far on the camera. Since we're scaling everything up. Okay. That looks better. Much, much better. So let's grab this thing and let's start flying our ship. Flying across the room now that the scale is fixed. Straight path. It is moving. Nobody. I think one thing we need to do is adjust the distance on these, because I think the scale. So where's our grabber? Path. Where's the grabber? It's in the universe now. So instead of min distance of 0.1, we should do min distance of 10. That's a little less ragged. And while we're waiting for that to fly in, let's bump up the speed of our ship a little bit. Controls. There we go. Oh, it's better. It's pretty mesmerizing in VR. Using my power cable. Okay, I had to plug back in. We can now fly. In VR. Alright, so things we changed. The speed, I think we do want to bump that speed up. It was glacially slow. It may be a little fast now still. I mean, it is a capital ship. It shouldn't move too fast. But I think this is an okay speed. So I'm sure we'll tweak it a few more times. We went with 25. What else have we modified? Our view distance. So we'll stick with the 25 for now. Maybe we'll bump this up to 10. At least 5. Camera view distance. We can see the stars. There's a view distance here. I mean, you don't normally want to crank up that view distance too far on the VR on a VR build, but it's just our scale. So it's like we're a factor of 10 bigger for everything. At least. The other thing I wanted to adjust was the asteroid field. Well, the sizes I think are good, but the density is too much on the asteroid field. $500. We need to add a regenerate button. Hey, Sora. Give me just a second. I'm going to adjust this, and I'll show you what we're doing. Because I'm pretty happy with it so far. Alright, that's a better distribution, I think, of the asteroids. Pop the hood off so I can give this a try. Oops, glasses gotta come off. Alright. There's my ship. There's the ship. It's behind me. Alright. Ship. Got the asteroids. Definitely am tanking the frame rate. Things broken again. I think we need to adjust the speed. No. Asteroids are definitely making me sick. Oh, the speed got set back to 5. I know I did that outside at one time. Oh, because, yeah. Oh, I got too close to that one.
We are in scene view, so can't see what is in the goggles anymore.
Oh no, I did it again. Sorry. Better? Headphones on so I can hear what you're saying because I cannot see what you're saying. Oh, where's my headphone?
Yep.
I have headphones on and I can hear you. Yeah, this is the second time I went in and I moved my mouse out of the scene view when I went to test and I walked over and did a bunch of flying and let's fly this way. And you guys saw nothing. Let's hit some asteroids. Flight path straight through the asteroids.
You could add a rule to OBS that if the mouse has not moved for X seconds, go to game view.
Yeah, I have it set up. The problem is it's really not set up for the VR part. I've got it set up so it automatically transitions to the right view when I'm using it. But yeah, if I set it up to automatically go to game view after a certain delay, that's probably a good idea. The problem is game view can be dynamic as to which screen or window it's on. Here. Oh. These asteroids. This one. And I think I need to have like my right hand create a new path and the left hand continue a path so that I can modify this, because every time I do this it starts from scratch, which is kind of what I want. But I could see some value in saying, oh well, now I want to change where he's going to go. I need the option. Boom.
The path tracing looks pretty cool.
Yeah, we just need to get some action in there now so it's not just mesmerizing. And I think the path tracing may still be a little too sensitive. I think I may need to increase the distance just a little bit more on it. We'll see. Because we've got these little jagged areas right in here, and if I increase the distance to maybe however long that is, those will go away, and it'll account for kind of the shaky hands that you get from drawing out these paths.
Just looking at this in 2D is making me sick though. I'm particularly sensitive.
Yeah, you're getting a lot of my head shake and low resolution. It's pretty good in VR, other than the fact that the frame rate is not as where it needs to be right now, because this asteroid field is not optimized, and it's probably got my frame rate down to 20 or 30 frames a second. But it looks really cool in VR. The ship is probably 6 inches now at this scale. The asteroid field itself is probably about the size of the room I'm playing in, maybe a little bit bigger. I could probably actually walk safely through a quarter of it. All right, headset off. All right, go back to the scale. Let's cut the number of asteroids at least in half. Fix the ship speed because I set the wrong value. We'll save that. The other thing I wanted to experiment was control handle. Oh, well, I forgot to reset that. That's part of why that was so jagged. We're going to try 10. Play space is altered. This is why I gotta get the anchor set up. We're gonna do that next. Forward to my hand so I can grab it from my seated desk position. Yeah, there we go. Much smoother lines. Ship's moving faster from the get-go, so we got the start
Looks
speed
better.
set up. try even more. Let's see what happens if we bump this up to 100. You know, I kind of like that, actually. I think we're going to go with 100. Sorry, how's the music volume? Is it audible but not distracting?
Yes.
Flying backwards. Good. Can you hear me at all when I'm standing up walking around the room, or does it just get totally... I'm talking from across the room?
Audio has been fine while I've been here.
Good. I worked pretty hard a week or two ago when I started getting prepped to stream again on figuring out my audio and getting it stable so that I have full control over what you guys hear and how loud it is, and I think it paid off. So far, what I've listened to from the VODs has been pretty good. Right, so let's do the planet. Let's throw a planet in here because we want to have everything kind of in orbit around that planet. That's kind of the stats on the frame rate we're getting. I should probably turn stats on. So reasonable frame rate, at least for PC. Not where it should be at all for the once it actually goes on the device. I think that'll drop down to like 20 frames a second, but at least a good starting point. I was afraid, even after adjusting how many asteroids you see, it was going to be in the 20s, but it looks like we're still sitting around 70-ish frames a second. I gotta throw the asteroids into GPUI or something. I haven't figured out what I'm gonna do for them just yet. About 50. I like that. We'll keep it at 100. Save. Find a planet. It's also getting dark in my room. I probably need to turn the light on. Tracking is going to start to be a problem. Yeah, you were getting queasy in 2D. I'm feeling the effects from seeing it in 3D. It's always the hazard of early stage VR development. You're going to make yourself sick. Right, a planet. I've been talking about a planet for over an hour now. We need to find the planet. Some plugins, maybe? I'm also not sure this is the pack that I want to use for the planets themselves. I think I want to use a different asset. I need to see if I have... I don't have Asset Manager properly set up on this system yet. need to get it there. This is annoying having to actually use the package manager. Grab some planets from Forged 3D, who is where a lot of these effects are coming from, and it is currently on sale. We're going to try using one of these and see just how well it scales at the scale we want it to scale. RP package somewhere in here. Yes. Sora, if you're still around, how'd the gem end up going? I played it a build, I think that was a couple days before the last build you posted. I haven't tried the new one yet.
Went really well, been working on it since. Got some promise.
Hey, I like that. I've been having a lot of trouble finding decent stars in particular, and I gotta say, I like that. Not bad. Okay, we want... What kind of planet do we want? Too many choices. Don't know what that chime was. Got a nice rotation to them. It's subtle, but there. Oh, Sora, what do you think? Gas giant?
Gas giant is good, like the red one too.
The gas giant's my favorite so far.
No rings as it will add to FPS.
Yeah, but I like the rings. You're right. Alright, the gas giant. That in the universe. 0, 0, 0. We're inside the gas giant right now. That's pretty cool looking. Question is, how is this going to work in MR? I think essentially what I need to do is I need to take this guy and divide it by 2 so that the pivot is right at the center of basically where the universe is going to be. And then we're going to want everything in orbit to be 3 to 6 feet above it to start. There. We center that at 0. Now, just my hand. Not bad. All right, let's copy that. We can get rid of the other planets for now. Camera rig actually starts inside the planet. May not be a good thing. I'm going to need to move the planet down another 500. Problem is, it needs to be probably a foot and a half up, at least. Which, with all the scaling, I'm not sure how I can measure that. Like, so we're at a scale of 500. So if I want to move 1 foot, one unity unit is 1 meter. That's a lot of math. 1/3, 1/3 plus 1. One times 500. So 500 is. I don't know if that did what I intended it to do. The planet's totally gone. Okay, so universe itself, 000.
Got to go run more errands now. This is looking good. Glad I saw the progress you are making.
See you later. Okay, I want to control the top of the planet, so I think I'm going to create an empty parent. I'm going to reset the pivot. Which it should be good now to do. You should be able to just create another planet, and that gives me that, and then I can go this, move the planet up. $100. That's 1/5 of a meter. Be okay. We kind of want the planet to just kind of stick through your feet, let you walk kind of through it, the atmosphere. Look at the planet. To play and see where the camera actually lands. It should be above. We need to adjust our asteroid field too, so it's above the planet, because there's no point in having asteroids below. Planet is nice and big below us. It's gonna be interesting to see this in MR space. In MR, the whole skybox goes away, and you'll see the planet, and you'll see the asteroids, but you will not see skybox. You'll see a room, and then the planet's just going to be coming up through the floor. Ship. So we adjusted the asteroids. Probably keep that at 0, and I guess we'll go 400. Oh, we want to go 500. Match that. But is that too high? The density gets lower as we get toward the edges. I wonder if we want to go 250. I think we want to be able to poke our head in and out of the asteroid field. So I think we probably want to lower the altitude a little bit. $300. 100. Good. Just reset the camera view on the headset as well. Well, I can reach out of the asteroid field now. I can reach below the asteroid field now, which I think is good. We may even need to raise the scale. Stick with this for now. I've reset the headset position. Get a new spawn point going for our ship. I think we'll have it sit just kind of at the top of this asteroid field. We can use the asteroid field as an escape. We don't want to spawn into it and hit an asteroid. But we want to be close enough that we can duck behind an asteroid if we need to, and enemies appear, which we need to soon. Right, let's go ahead and add in an enemy ship. Just another cruiser. I did call this a VR MR ship battle scene. We haven't done any battling. I fired the guns once or twice. But the cruiser has auto cannons, so we should see it start attacking enemies when they spawn in. That one versus this one. And we'll let this one flip around. We're going to let it spawn in and they'll face each other. And start blasting each other. Too close. Up there. Need those on for the AI ship. Do need target position though. control point for the ships so that I can throw them in front of the camera a little easier. Yeah, fixing that scale made a big difference on the cannon fire. Alright, so let's get something set up with the controller at least, so we can trigger cannon fire. Oh, you saw that. So what I think I'm going to do, I haven't figured out how I want to do this for hands yet, is, well, I have an idea what I want to do for hands. On manual turret controls, I'll give it a, yeah, we can do this for hands. Let's do this for hands. Blow up the ship. So we will copy this value, and I think that's all we'll have time to do today. So let's do that. Let's at least get where we can blow this ship up. Alright, so we're going to do firing control, which means we need another building block. We're going to call this the fire control building block. Where are another grabbing item? Turret control. And what we want to do is we want to make sure that wherever it is, it's close to the ship. I think. Right. Well, let's start it on the carrier ship. I also gotta figure out why auto cannons aren't working, because those two ships could have blown each other out at that position and range. Need a spear on this one. I wonder if we have something that would pass as a target. So what we could do, we have this ring. This might do it. Just toss a double-sided material on it. So that could be our forward control. Yeah. Okay, so let's grab a material. We'll make this one we'll use the red one for this one. Modify our shader a little bit. I want to add the ability to make this double-sided. think that's the right one. Yes. Then we can change the render face specifically for that material instance, and then we'll create one from this that is targeting hollow. And we'll change this to both. So that it renders both sides. Oh, I like that. It's better, even though the backside's going to be gone. I think I'm going to have to create a custom model for this to really get what I want. But we don't have time for that right now. This will have to do. We have a torus. I wonder if we have a torus. That's what I want. Facing the wrong direction. I don't know if there's a way to rotate a mesh. So maybe I keep that as a ball. And then go in here. Get my torus. Rotate it 90 degrees. There we go. I can go for that. Okay, so this is our turret control. It needs to go from the ship position, and then as I grab it, basically a radius outside of that ship position. So you'll be able to grab this and move it, but when it's released, it'll snap back basically in line to the targeting range of, like, the max range of all of the weapons controlled by this particular control point. As long as you're holding it, the weapons will fire. Maybe that doesn't matter. Well, this will live inside the ship, so go grab inside the ship and pull it out. And I guess the other thing I could do is grab it inside the ship and pull it out, and that sets the direction, and then when you want to stop firing, you put it back in. Could work. let's just get this working first. And under here, we've got ship systems. Don't know if my weapons system yeah, we're probably have to modify some code for this. Yeah. What we essentially want to do is trigger specific system. So this is stop firing weapon system. We stop triggering. Call this one start triggering. I want to just control the individual weapon system. Now I want to do this one. Fire system. It's triggered. Something here. These are not to key bindings. For 2D mode, like the right mouse as you see on the left, there's a weapon trigger there. That triggers the manual turret control. So now we should be able to call start and stop. The other thing in here is the targeting system. That one. And for up here, system. Okay, for targeting, I will need to set a system target. Right now, we have it set to just use the mouse point, which is incorrect. But we need it to use that if the mouse point is a trigger. So, do this mouse trigger. And over here. Up. We're eventually going to switch this over to the new input system. This is a pretty hacky way to get this going, but it's fine for now. Need to figure out why the parameter name template is wrong. Never been my company. Looking dirty. Okay. So now let's say the dictionary target transforms. We're gonna have to write custom code for this. I don't think we can do this from the other. It's gonna require 2 parameters to do. Fine. So I mean, it doesn't really change how this works. If target transforms with target value. We have target transforms. I'll do this the list. We have a lot of garbage collection if we don't. Systems. We're not going to have that many systems going at once, so it'll be relatively quick. How to remove. We want the whole system. Go to system name. We can get the systems. We need them. Go back in our update loop. Unactive targetable weapon system. Yeah, so we have these targeting transference that are bound to a system. They're there, we have a target, otherwise return. And then what we do is, this is going to have to change. A system, because we can have multiple active systems at once. I don't want to worry about that right now. That should at least let us target. So now we need to do target control. Where we get the system name. Roles. Start targeting. And then system name. All that. Select target transform. So target this thing. Clear. Stop. Trigger. Right. What are errors then? Initialize. With there. Over here. Don't need the transfer because we're just clearing it. Okay, so now it took a little while. Back to our turret control. We got to make sure that we don't have any colliders on here. They're only triggers because we don't want the turret fire to actually hit the thing. It's a targeting. Add on a targeting roll, and I'm gonna have to figure out a way not to have to copy and paste those values so I can find them in the UI when I need them. Player control system. And then just drop this in here. So that when we select, it's going to start firing in the direction that we tell it to. And we don't actually want this parented to that object, we just want to make sure that it's the same position for now. All right. Let's see if we can aim our guns. Feel. Asteroid right in front of my face, which I guess we can fix with this. I think the targeting worked. increase the scale on this again. Above. I'll give you a better idea, I think. Where are you? Get it? I have to put the headset on. What do you got? That works too. Wait, so why aren't we firing? Figure out why this is happening. Alright, well, we'll get to touch this stupid bugger. I don't know what that is. Well, I guess that's the problem. I don't know what's going on there. It's totally blocking me. Oh, I'm gonna have to stop. This is spamming. Wait, we'll see if this crashes Unity. We did earlier. Hopefully it doesn't now. Good, it didn't. Right, well, we're out of time, so we're gonna stop there for tonight. I was hoping we'd get to see the cannons fire, but we're getting closer. And we've got the little targeting ring, not so little. And we made a lot of progress on getting the ship flying. So overall, not too bad. Let me go over here, and we will we will fly our ship around as we go into the outro. Of course, I lost the handle for the flight tracking. Let's see if we can figure out where that went. And then we'll do it. Here's our handle. Back out. Right, let's try this. Oh, by the way, the planet in VR. It's like waist height. This is really pretty cool. Targeting ring. So drop that there, and it should just start blasting these asteroids at that target, which is also really cool. Even the size of it. I think I kind of like the size of this. I mean, it's huge, but it's kind of cool that way. I'll probably cut it at least 50%. All right, so let's fly out our ship through some asteroids, and that's where we will call it a night. Let the ship fly through the ring. Just accidentally grabbed the thing. All right. Well, with the knots, we will call it a night. Thanks for watching.